Yo, what's up, everybody? Excuse me. It's me again, Anime Critic, with a lovely little game called Homeward. Let's begin the Let's Play here now. Our character comes back to what is his home, but apparently this wasn't his home. It says so right here. This wasn't my home. I thought those words as I followed my father into our new house. It had been nearly 10 years since I lived in this country. Excuse me. Because my father's job as a diplomat, I had followed him throughout the world. First Korea, then France, then America. Who knew where I would end up in the next moment? A large, empty room greeted me as I entered the house. Another quiet, empty house. Who knew how long this one would last? I found the box containing my belongings and I headed to my room. I dropped the box to the floor. My room was on the third bedroom on the right. That's right, there would be 3 bedrooms this time around. We had unexpectedly returned to Japan when we received word that my mother's health had deteriorated. Since she was going to be hospitalized from now on, my younger sister Sora was going to come live with us. Even though my parents have been divorced as long as I could remember, I guess she was still family. I only had 3 memories of seeing Sora in my life. The first 2 times were too far ago in my childhood and blurred at one with time. The third time, however, I could remember much more clearly. It was about 3 years ago when my father and I stopped by Japan for 2 days during summer vacation. We had gone to a small restaurant together. We have gone to a small restaurant together. We had gone to a small restaurant together. Much of the details of that time were lost, but I still remember Sora eating ice cream sundae with me. She spoke hardly a word that time. There was an emotional, sad aura about her, like a frozen pond covered with snow. Her eyes were unfocused, gazing blankly at the table underneath her. She never looked at my face. That was all I could recall from that day. There was still a week left before she would move in. By the time I finished settling up all my belongings, it'd be late afternoon. Since my father was still downstairs, busy unpacking his belongings, I went out of the house and looked around the neighborhood. An uncomfortable sort of nostalgia filled me as I wandered around the town I once knew. A town split into two halves by a river. A town surrounded by mountains on all sides. I wonder if that hill with the lonely tree was still there. As I made my way towards the hill, I saw how much the town had changed since I left. The field of tall grass that I once played in was now replaced with a new shopping mall. The tiny stream that I would cross every day was now a cemented waterway. Branched new houses lined the once verdant hill. A spiraling road led to the top. I followed the road. Sorry, excuse me. At the very top of the hill, I found a small fenced-off park with the same tree of many years ago. Sorry about that. It was still here. I sat down by a nearby bench. The sun was now setting. The tree cast long shadows against the dirt ground, silhouetting it with a black pattern. Times are changing, young lad. From seemingly out of nowhere, an old lady appeared behind me. Her back was bent with age and time. She turned her hair thin and white. She sat down on the bench beside me and looked at the tree with her tired gray eyes. I say, there was a time where the place was nothing but green. Now those young folk come in with that new mall and done changed everything. I could barely understand the old lady's Japanese through her thick Kasai accent, but I just nodded politely. Now none of the birds even come around, nobody to keep this old woman company. She continued to speak out of respect, She continued to speak out of respect for the elderly. I pretended to listen, even though I couldn't make out most of her words. This old park is all that's left of my old memories. Heh. I guess that's why I'd like to come back here. Old habits are hard to kill. I wasn't sure what to say to the old lady, but I felt like I had to say something, lest she thinks I was ignoring her. I used to come here often too. Ooh, you did you? I always wanted to come back. And why is that, my dear? There's someone I'm supposed to meet here. Hope she hasn't been waiting too long. Oh, someone special, is it? Well, I don't imagine a young lad like you waiting for an old woman like me. Wahaha. A breeze blew through the park, filling the air with a flurry of white sakura petals. For a moment, it felt as if the small puffs of snow were falling from the blue spring sky. Nostalgia filled me as I sat here long ago and watched the white petals softly glide to the ground before. The distant taste of old candy trickled from my mouth. Had I been eating candy that day? Suddenly I heard the sound of a baseball bat being swung on the other side of the park. I turned my head and saw a lone Kendoka practicing. 1 minute, guys. I'm gonna be right back. Let me pause this. Be right back. Sorry about that, guys. You start to clear my throat, so I can get some water up in here. I watched quietly as the girl swung her bamboo sword over her head. There was a kind of aesthetic beauty to it. To see a lone girl in traditional clothing, gracefully cutting the air against the setting sun. After swinging her sword for a few minutes, she stopped and bought a sports drink from the vending machine. While she was drinking, she noticed me and waved. I stood up and turned to bid my farewell to the old lady, but saw that she was nowhere to be seen. Huh, strange, she must have walked off while I was busy looking. Yo! Oh, I wasn't quite sure what to say beyond that. It's pretty, isn't it? She pointed off to this distance, where now the entire city glittered against the setting sun. We looked at the view together. It's been a while, Naname. Whoa, you remembered my name! I have a good memory. Let me guess. You must be Kenji, right? Nope. Blay, you look like a Kenji to me. My name's Richard Sanji. No way, that's totally not your name. Nope, my name seriously is Richard. Richardo? Meh, whatever. From today onwards, I'll just call you Rikun. Did she really just make up a new nickname for me? Where do you go to school, Rikun? I just transferred to Mikamamani High School. No way, no way, I go there too. Sorry about that. Well, I got an idea. Let's walk to school together, just like we used to, okay? Sure. Wow, come on, you gotta tell me some stories. You lived in America, right? Oh, is it really true that kissing is only a greeting in America? No, they actually do that in France. And it's only on the cheek. Whoa, so you've been to France too? Well, it was only for 2 years. Tell me about it. Well, my father's a diplomat, so... Girl, you better stop interrupting me. Amazing. You must be super smart then. She pulled off a bandana she's been using to tie up her hair in a ponytail and started twirling it around in a circle. You're really good at speaking English then, right? Teach me. Yeah, okay. Check this out. Today I met a old friend. I wasn't really sure what she meant and decided to nod my head anyways. Do you mean today I met an old friend? Whoa, you're incredible. All of a sudden, she took the bandana and tightly wrapped it around her forehead. Alright, from today onwards, we'll do nothing but study English. Did she just decide that by herself? Come on, Rikun, over this way. Yes. Sorry about that. Let's see. She slipped her bamboo sword into her bag and slung it over her shoulders. There. I was afraid that we wouldn't have anything to talk about once we met. Nanami began to run down the hill and waved at me. Faster, faster! I followed her down. Even though many things have changed in the town, it seemed as if Nanami was still her usual self. Even after all these years, she was still as bright and energetic as I remembered. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. We didn't really make progress that much, but we're reaching on 11 minutes, so not sure how much more I'm gonna do. Oh, check this out. It's Tanaga Salute. Hehe, remember the one time you broke off its head and you were so scared? Wait a minute, if I recall correctly, I think it was you who threw the ball that did it. I killed Mr. Tanyaku! I killed Mr. Tanyaku! Boo-hoo! I totally did not cry like that. As far as I can remember, I've been a stranger to everyone. Sure, I had friends in America and everywhere else, but did that matter? As soon as I had to move again, I would lose everyone that I knew. No matter how much we tried to stay in contact, we eventually ended up forgetting about each other. It's not like I met many people who I could connect with anyways. In the end, who were people just going to trust the most? The friends who they lived and grown up with all their lives are a stranger like me. No matter how much I wanted to, it wasn't if I could travel back in time and become childhood friends with everyone. Oh, check it out, it's the river where I caught that one frog. Remember how we gave it to Takane-chan in a plastic container? There was so much fuss when it escaped in the classroom. Oh, we totally were standing in the hall holding those buckets for that. I thought my shoulders were going to snap off. I had been near giving up, actually. I didn't really make much of a difference getting to know people. What was the point in it? In the end, I would just always be one of the new friends. And by the time I could even become an old friend, it'd be time to move again. I was about to accept the life of solitude. Remember when we used to make mud cakes here? You would always bring water from the river in your small beach bucket, and we would dump it on the sandbox and make mud cakes. One for Daddy, medium for Mommy, small one for the baby. The only thing that kept me going was a small hope that one day things would change. Even though I should have just accepted the reality of the situation, it was still too sad to give up completely. It was too frightening to accept the reality that I may never meet anyone again. Most of all, I just didn't want to be lonely. Oh, over here. This is where I live, remember? The walls seem so much lower now. Wah! Unknown to you, I've been trimming them down little by little every day since you left. Or something like that. Well then, see you tomorrow. See you. I turned to leave for my house. You know, Riku, I've really missed you. I turned around to face her again. You remembered my name. She winked. I have a good memory too. You know, just not a very fast one. And we, sir, will save right there. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like in the description, and I will talk to you lovely people later.